Okay, so the envelope feedback I use in Through again, simply because they are nicer. Okay, and better to see. Things are better to see. The problem is that the signal here at on top of each stage is sent out when the stage begins and not when it ends. So this feedback signal here is sent out when the release stage begins and not when it ends. So not after the complete finishing of the cycle. And it's the same here. So the second envelope generator is initiated already at the beginning of the release state, not of its end. But okay, knowing that, we can work with this. I use the linear shape. So let's have a look at the patch. Of course, both envelope generators send the signal to the mixer. One envelope generator starts, and when it's finished, the next one starts. So the output of the mixer is the chain of both envelope generators. That's the same like before. But now, at the end, okay, not really at the end because it's at the beginning of the release phase, but let me say it at the end. Call it at the end. At the end of the cycle of envelope 2, the right one here, there's a trigger signal sent to the beginning of the first envelope, the envelope on the right side. So at the moment, nothing happens, nothing is heard, because the whole process, the whole feedback needs an initial gate or trigger signal. It could come from an LFO, which then I would remove, but Instro has this nice trigger button. It's enough just pushing it, what I do now. And you see the stage lights. We have not too long, but remarkable, but still noticeable attack at the beginning. Then we have a quite long decay to a middle high level of sustain, and then envelope 1 has a release phase, and there is a release, but we see it on the at the lights here. The lights show it. But before the release starts, the next envelope is initiated, and this envelope has a remarkably shorter attack, a remarkably shorter decay, but a higher and additionally a higher sustain level. And the release phase is the same, and there is a release phase, but while this release phase is still being performed, the feedback already works, and the next overall cycle over both envelope generators starts. The same here with the first release phase. There is a release phase, of course, but while this release phase is still working, is still being executed, the right envelope here is already started by the beginning of the release phase. Okay, and now we can go and play around with these things, different signal strength here with the mixer sliders is not that interesting. Here you see it's only the first here. Now the first envelope doesn't deliver so much to the whole patch, to the whole modulation frequency with the CV development coming out. And now it's the second patch, which is a little bit diminished, but it's not that interesting. More interesting is working here with different stages. Let me at first increase the release of the first envelope, so that the first envelope and the second envelope work together for a quite long time. Yeah, and now you see the long release here overlaps that much the second envelope that it nearly wipes out the structure of the second envelope. Let me reduce it again. And do the same with the second envelope. Now, when I increase it, this second envelope, the release of the second envelope, nearly wipes out the structure of the first envelope because it's still active, a long time active. You see it on the lights. Here the lights are on. Now it's... Yeah. Let me even reduce the attack of the first envelope. Look, compare the release light, how long it is lit, how long the release phase here takes, and which states of the first envelope have to pass by because the release completely finishes. So, still on, still on, still on, still on, still on, still on. Now it's going down, so let me reduce even the decay phase. It's still on, 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 still on. Now it's... So the first, the release phase of the second envelope covers the first, all three stages of the first envelope. And now let me do it extreme. Both release times high is the loss of structure at all, nearly of course. Okay, but that's not that interesting. Let me reduce the release to a sensible measure. And now we see something else. Still, I still want to like to remind you that we are talking about time-related parameters, meaning with short decay, short attack, and short release, and even short decay because the difference here is not that much, and here is even no difference at all because sustain is higher. We increase also the frequency of the feedback loop here. So now the frequency goes down, but the first release phase overlaps so much of the second envelope that it's not interesting anymore. But with attack it's different, of course. So I have nice peaks at the end. You see why. The light shows it. Let me reduce the release on both envelopes to 0. And let me reduce the sustain of the second envelope. And do the opposite with the first envelope. Add some attack gain. Yeah, okay. So you see construction possibilities, and of course, again, we can use more than only 2 envelopes in such a chain with or without feedback.